Hello and welcome back from our 4-week hiatus of talking film. We have got so much to catch up on. So let's begin. I'm Daniel and we have Nick on the other side. So let's start talking. Let's get the box office always out of the way first. At number 5, we have Unfriended with $6.24 million for $25.2 million total. Number 4, we have Home. $8.3 million for a total of $153.8 million. Number 3, Age of Adeline, $13.4 million. And number 2, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, $15.5 million for a total of $44 million. And number 1, we have The Reigning Champ, 4 weeks in a row, first time since the Hunger Games back in 2012 for consecutive wins. Furious 7 with $18.3 million. For a total of $320.5 million.
Which domestically,
domestically,
domestically 320 is remarkable, but it's not outstanding, is it really?
It's outstanding for Fast and Furious, considering Furious 6.
But didn't Guardians of the Galaxy make a similar number last year? I believe
it made 332, so this could actually outbeat it.
Yeah, it's going to beat it, but it's not performing. It's much more interesting about Furious 7 is how it's performing overseas, I think. But considering it's the third film of all time to break 1 billion overseas, that's
astonishing.
Yeah. After Avatar and Titanic. So it's made more money overseas than the Avengers. It's made more money overseas than Frozen, which is astonishing considering how much legs those films had. They just kept going. It seemed like they'd never run out of steam. But
it's also beaten the last Harry Potter movie.
And worldwide it's going to. There's no way it's not going to be.
Which is sad for us Harry Potter.
Yeah, and it's not every film gets to beat that. It'll be interesting to see if it overtakes Avengers as well. It's definitely got a shot at it.
If not, it'll come close.
It'll come close. And what's more interesting perhaps is, well, I know that we talk about the domestic normally. We talk about the top 5, but the other 4 are kind of unremarkable. Since Age of Adeline, its first week in release, probably touch on that a bit. It's a modest result for that film. I don't know if it's kind of been swept under the radar between 2 blockbusters, and everybody's kind of, it sounds interesting, but I don't really want to spend my money on that movie when I just spent my money on Furious 7. I'm going to spend my money on Age of Ultron next week. So poor Age of Adeline has kind of been left in the dust a little bit. Bad scheduling.
But anyway, this is a lot better. This is a lot better than I thought it was going to do. So,
yeah, I guess I'm interested in seeing the movie, but I just don't think I'll get around to it because of all the other movies I need to see first. I might see it when it comes out on home release. We'll see. But anyway, the more interesting story is the 2 blockbusters that are fighting at the moment, and that's Furious 7 and Age of Ultron, and how it comes to the States next week. Domestically, Age of Ultron releases on May 2nd? May 1st? May 1st. So it'll be interesting to see how that performs and how much that affects Furious 7, because worldwide, they are now going head-to-head. Age of Ultron made 201, I think 201, correct me if I'm wrong, 201 million overseas in 55% of the market. The overseas market.
Without China?
Yeah, that's without China. It's without, what else? Without opened in Korea. Did it open Japan? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think Mexico or something like that.
Yeah, it's also I think it's without Japan, because Japan's another big market. Normally they don't have a.
Japan's usually the last ones to get it.
Japan's usually last, yeah. But yeah, it's beating the first Avengers. So we're talking about Furious 7 beating pretty much every other record overseas, and here we are now, Avengers beating every record the first Avengers set. So who will win? Is it Furious 7 or will Avengers Age of Ultron take it over? I don't know.
Well,
it's going to be really interesting. We might end up having the Avengers slipping down, the first Avengers slipping down to 5th place in the next few weeks worldwide, because there'll be 2 films overtaking it. That will be remarkable if that happens. That's so much money spent on movies worldwide in a month.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the first, not even the first 5 months there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because we talk about China, and China has changed everything in terms of worldwide box office. Like in 2 years, 3 years, it's basically doubled its market. It's more than doubled. So now these films like Furious 7, like last year Transformers, are making money and exceeding the previous installments based on China alone. If you take China out, it's kind of predictable. It's like, oh yeah, that's the expected kind of gross for that movie. But you add in China, and all of a sudden it's exorbitant and just stratospheric. The kind of grosses these films are getting. It's remarkable. It's a bit unfair, really, for all those films that didn't get released in the time that China was a bit unfair.
So you would probably wonder how much would not Avatar Titanic. They did pretty well in China, especially Titanic's 3D re-release. But it's like, how much would Harry Potter, the last one, would have made? How much would have?
I don't think Harry Potter is a big draw in China. I don't think Harry Potter would have made that much in China. More than it did when it came out 4 years ago, but it would still not have made that much compared to, say, the Avengers or Furious 7. Furious 7 seemed to strike a chord with China. I don't know what it was about Furious 7, but China seems to love it.
Yeah, well, the only thing I know they can, like, because I know that at the start there's a Chinese film company.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think that anything's going to overtake Furious 7 this year at the Chinese box office. I think that Furious 7 is going to stay on top, because I don't think that Avengers 2, I might be wrong, but I don't think Avengers 2 appeals to the Chinese audience as much as Furious 7 did. And obviously Star Wars is the other possible candidate for highest grossing film of the year, and I don't think that's anywhere on the Chinese radar, but we might be wrong. We might be wrong. I'm just thinking that Furious 7 seemed to, like, they love that kind of movie. It's got everything Transformers had. It's got the over the top stunts and the cars and the attractive women and all that stuff. The Chinese seem to love that. So it struck the same audience as Transformers 4 did last year, and that's why it made so much money in China.
Yeah, and Furious 7 has now overtaken Transformers 4 as the highest in box office in China, so which is a good thing.
That's what I was referring to, yes.
Okay.
But anyway, it's very, very interesting. International box office right now is way more interesting than anything happening domestically right now. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, and for it's gonna be weird because Furious 7 is gonna make more in China than it would be in America.
Yeah, that's just true. And it's a bigger market now, China, than America is, which is insane. Well, there's a big audience there, I guess. Lots of people.
Yep. Oh well, it means movies are making more money, which is a good thing for studios.
Which is a good thing. It's good for more movies being made, but probably the wrong type of movies at the moment.
Well, Fast and Furious 7 is enjoyable, so it's a lot better than Transformers.
It's enjoyable, but it's promoting the wrong kind of stereotypes. And anyway, that's a discussion for another day.
Moving on to our first topic, our first news story, which is not really a news story anyway. Trailers galore. So let's start talking about Star Wars, and then we'll talk about Batman v Superman.
Okay, so trailers are obviously the biggest thing that happened. Trailers are the biggest thing that happened in the last 4 weeks that we've missed. So I think that if anybody has not seen that amazing Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer yet, I don't know what you're doing with your life. keep watching Talking Film, but as soon as this finishes, go and watch the trailer because it's amazing.
Unless you already haven't seen it with Avengers.
Or you can see it again. Like if you've already seen it and you want to watch it after Talking Film, go ahead and watch it second, third, fourth, 17th time. I really, really, really like that trailer. What it does so great, right? Okay, so spoilers if you haven't seen the trailer. What it does so great is
wow, spoilers for a trailer. This is brand new.
Yeah, well, this is a special trailer. This is Star Wars. So I'm going to say spoilers, but just that ending, it strikes a chord with everything the original trilogy got right. Like it looked like the next step, the original trilogy. So, like I know that a lot of films based on their trailers have disappointed in the last 12 months because the trailers hype them up as one movie, one type of movie, and then the actual film, it's just kind of an illusion. A trailer can be an illusion a lot of the time to get you to see the film, and it's getting more and more so that way in the last year, 2 years. So maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like J.J. Abrams has nailed the tone for Star Wars 7 because the shot of the Darth Vader mask, the ending with Chewie we're home, Han Solo, 30 years from the end of Episode 6. Even that just the cinematography of that Death Star crash in the desert. That's more amazing shot than anything in the prequel trilogy. See what's the original trilogy of Star Wars did right, and why it's so well loved and endures so well, is it felt epic. It was a fantasy set in space. It was epic, and it just had this scope and these characters that just felt like they inhabited this rich world with these Star Wars that actually felt like they were real wars kind of thing, yeah? And the villain felt real. Darth Vader is such a relatable villain, such an evil character, and yet he's humanized by the end of it, so that we actually feel sympathy for him. The real villain is Darth Sidious, the Emperor Palpatine, who becomes Darth Sidious, and
that's a good point. I mean, the other villains in the prequels, you do not relate. You don't feel anything for them.
Exactly.
Besides Darth Vader.
And Abrams, I think, has. I don't know how Kylo Ren. We haven't seen much of him really in the trailers. Of
that's easy.
Yeah, he looks intimidating, but we'll see how he actually pans out in the film. But just that scope of epicness is portrayed perfectly in the trailer. Not just the callbacks to the original trilogy with like the obvious iconography, the voiceover from Luke Skywalker. Yeah, and it's hard to articulate, but just the epicness, it just feels there. It feels fantastical. It feels like the world of Star Wars that George Lucas invented over 30 years ago. That's what it feels like. And I'm really excited now. The first trailer was great, but the second trailer is just like amazing. Like it's one of the best trailers I've seen in years, I think. Anyway, that's my thought.
I probably wouldn't call the first trailer great. I felt like it because all it was just shots teasing us, you know.
It got us excited though. That was its point. Excited. There's a new Star Wars movie. So basically, the first trailer was there's a new Star Wars movie coming, guys, and it's set after the original trilogy. The second trailer, the new trailer, is there's a new Star Wars coming, guys, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like the original trilogy. It's forget the prequels. This is the Star Wars movie you've been waiting for 30 years. That's what the second trailer is saying.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like JJ is capturing what was nostalgia, you know, what was great about the originals, while putting, you know, new elements to it, so new characters that we can get behind.
It feels so good to be actually optimistic about a movie for once. Whereas based on some trailers, it's going, oh no, it's going to be terrible. This movie, like Terminator, Jurassic World, there's a few movies that the trailers have just not inspired hope. I'm hoping I'm proven wrong.
Star Wars
I'm
is
hoping
doing
it's proven
everything
right.
right. Star Wars is doing everything right that Jurassic World
Yeah.
isn't doing everything
Exactly.
wrong.
Although I
Okay.
see segueing here to the Jurassic World trailer that I don't think you've seen, but the new one.
No, you can talk about it though if you want.
Yeah, well, the new Jurassic World trailer, I just think it's trying. The first Jurassic World trailer tried to hit the same notes as Jurassic Park. It tried to make it feel like Return to Jurassic Park kind of thing. The second trailer has gone for a more, kind of different approach, where it's selling it as a conventional blockbuster with much more dinosaur action. Right, so there's a lot of dinosaur action in the second trailer. But that's the thing; it just doesn't seem to recapture that sense of discovery and adventure that made Jurassic. It's just action. It's like a Transformers trailer almost. It's just like not even criticizing the special effects or the dialogue, which I don't think are that great, but the trailer just does not inspire much hope in the tone of the film. The wonder. That's what Jurassic Park was about. It was about wonder, and the sequel and the third movie didn't get that right either. So Jurassic World, I'm hoping gets it right, but at the moment the trailers don't inspire hope. Anyway. Back to the Star Wars trailer.
Well, I haven't seen the second trailer of Jurassic World. But the first one looked like the first trailer felt rehashed the first one. So maybe the second trailer was probably better, and I should have watched that.
Well, maybe it didn't feel like a rehash but I think it needs to take some inspiration from the original Jurassic Park, because that's where the magic was at. So don't become a Transformers film. Become a Jurassic Park film. That's my take. But anyway, back to Star Wars. You haven't given your impression really yet of what you thought.
Well, the opening Luke Skywalker's voiceover was actually I really like it. I didn't even knew it was archival footage. Where they got his voice from until I heard people talking about it and all that. Yeah, I really like it. It's sort of. So who's out? Is Daisy really going to be our main protagonist in this film?
I hope so. I think so.
Because that's what the trailer is sort of hinting upon.
The trailer is hinting that it's Daisy Ridley and what's Boyega? What's his first name?
John
Boyega. Yeah. And he's probably going to be kind of the Han Solo of like the secondary protagonist, I think. I'm hoping. It seems like a good duo. So here we have, I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but we have a protagonist that is female and a secondary protagonist that's black, which is so, like, Hollywood's never done that. Well done, Disney. Round of applause. Also, the writers and director and that probably deserve a bit of credit too. But like, your protagonist for a Star Wars movie doesn't need to be a white male, and I'm glad that they've decided that they'll try something different instead of going for just a small blonde kid again.
Let's find the cast, which we need. But overall, I really like the trailer, even though we didn't have any revealing for Luke Skywalker or Princess Leia. But I guess they'll be probably the full trailer. Probably see all three of them back together on the same screen. Probably. Yeah.
Well, we haven't actually seen Luke and Leia again yet, really, have we? We've seen a picture of. We've seen pictures that aren't actual official film photos.
Well, we haven't seen anything as of yet, and we've only heard Luke so far. So.
It should be great. I'm hoping. It's so far away still, though. We've got so many talking films between now and then to talk about it. Anyway, the other trailer, the final trailer that we should talk about is
Batman v Superman.
Yeah, Batman v Superman. Why did that have to come out the day after Star Wars? I don't know.
Was it leaked?
It wasn't leaked, I don't think, no. Was it? I don't know. I didn't see the leaked one. That's the official one.
I heard it was leaked, and then they released the official footage.
Okay. I don't know. Well, I know that there was a teaser for the trailer, which I hate that trend. Oh, we're going to release this trailer tomorrow. Have a look at the teaser for the teaser trailer. Anyway, I didn't watch the teaser for the trailer. I just watched the trailer when it finally came out.
Mhm.
Um,
I hate that anyway.
what did you think of the trailer?
Okay, well, you probably noted my hinted my excitement when I said Batman v Superman. Well, the first half of the trailer just seems like Man of Steel 2. It doesn't give me much confidence this is going in a different direction that I didn't really like Man of Steel going. It looks dull. It looks still the same thing. Superman's supposed to be hopeful. We still, I don't know, there's nothing's translating with me with Superman. Um, and the it's also dark. I don't know why it needs to be dark for, but then with Batman, I get why that's dark and all that. But yet again, I can't say anything bad about Ben Affleck because all we see is just one shot. He doesn't really do anything besides being as Batman. But I don't know, nothing doesn't really make me even more excited. Oh, made me more excited than I was previously, which was very low. And just didn't give me anything new like Star Wars the trailer gave me. So
It's exactly what we expected.
yeah.
I'm not surprised, so I'm not disappointed, but I'm not excited either.
No, a lot of people are. A lot of people like this trailer. So
I know. I don't understand. Like these people, I like DC. I'm not attacking DC. I'm sure that Batman. Well, I like the Dark Knight trilogy fairly well, and I think that Batman's a great superhero. And I just don't think they're going in the right direction with this. I'm not a Marvel fanboy or whatever. They keep attacking people who say, "Oh, Man of Steel is too dark," and then they're like, "Oh, just Marvel fanboy attacking DC." No, it's a criticism. It's a genuine criticism of Man of Steel to say it's just too. Like last week, they came out a video that there was a video on YouTube, I think it was YouTube, of the color corrected version of Man of Steel. So they have Man of Steel, the cinematic release, and then next to it they have a color corrected one. So they brightened the colors of Man of Steel. And
yeah, I posted that. That looks so much better. The color.
there was so much color in that in the corrected version. It seemed like it should have been the movie that was released. It was just basically the theatrical version was just all in grayscale. I don't know.
And it seems to be going the same direction again. And if they did that color that was in the video, that would be an interesting contrast between Superman sort of like all color hope and stuff like that, and then Batman being all dark, because that's what worked with Batman the Dark Knight. He's a very dark, mysterious character compared to Superman.
Yeah,
and then and going that exact same way in Man of Steel with the Dark Knight style just didn't translate well with Superman at all.
They should have gone a completely different direction after the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was its own thing, and it was its own tone. And DC doesn't need to be synonymous with that dark tone just because Marvel's got the light tone.
Mm-hmm.
They should both be able to use both. DC should be able to go a little bit lighter, and Marvel should be allowed to go a bit darker. That's why.
That's the good thing with Marvel, especially like with Avengers and that they can go dark and then they can go like light fun.
They don't go that dark though. It's a genuine criticism of Marvel that sometimes some of their darker films still aren't still too afraid to go dark enough.
Mm-hmm.
Even like you think Guardians of the Galaxy and you think, well, there was a really genuine serious moment towards the end there, but it was undercut kind of by the ending and the revival of the character, the humor, which was great. The humor was great, but it could have been more dark, but it chose not to.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to our next one. I know this was like way long time. Hang on. Disney doing Milan as a live action film. Did we talk about that last time? I think that came out just after.
I think we briefly discussed it. I think we're talking about live action remakes of Disney films, and I just touched on it as an example. I think it did come out just before our last talking film. I think it was the week before our last talking film that this was revealed. Basically, my opinion hasn't changed. I think we've had this discussion about 3 times now because Disney keeps announcing these films. So what do we have? Pinocchio, Winnie the Pooh. I think we were talking about Winnie the Pooh, I think, one week. And then, yeah, I think it would be pointless and futile to waste too much time on this. So, yeah, just stop, Disney, stop.
Well, if they could be as great as Cinderella, well,
Cinderella was good. All right, Cinderella maybe necessitated it. All right, Cinderella made sense. Maybe Beauty and the Beast will be great too, but we don't need Winnie the Pooh, and I don't think we need Mulan either.
I think Mulan could work, and it'll be oh my god, diverse the cast. You know, it's not just going to be like a white female protagonist that we've had for every single Disney live action film.
So yeah,
potential.
Maybe. But what happens when they remake Tangled in live action?
No, don't remake Tangled. I love that movie. No.
5 years from now.
No.
Be like, wow, that's too soon. Be like the Amazing Spider-Man reboot. And then the reboot of Spider-Man. When that happens, when they reboot Spider-Man, everybody's going to be like, what? Another Spider-Man? What? Remains to be seen how that is handled. Mm-hmm. There's honestly not many options for Marvel there. Anyway.
Moving on to our next one. We have to rapid fire these now. SpiderMan animated movie, July 20, 2018.
This is a recent news item. So the most important thing here. Well, how about you go first? I was going to mention the directors, but I can let you mention that.
Well,
you go first.
I don't know if Phil Lord and Chris Miller are directing it. I know they're producing it, and I know they're writing it. So that's all I know so far. I don't know if they're directing it.
Are you happy with this idea?
If they directed, slightly, yes. But I guess I don't know if
we need more Spider-Man?
No, we need either one. I think we either need one or the other. You either do a live-action film or you do an animated film. You don't do both; it will confuse people, I think. And it'll probably be treading similar territories with, is the anime one going to be too similar to live-action Spider-Man in terms of some probably plot points, or are we going to get Miles Morales in the animated Spider-Man?
Here is my counterpoint. Right now Sony has the rights to use other Marvel characters, in their Spider-Man films. Does this extend to the animated Spider-Man film?
I don't think so, because I don't think this is not going to be part of the Avengers universe. So I think they can only do it the first Spider-Man film.
Because I can only think there's only one reason that they would do this. It's so that they can create a Spider-Man film that's independent of the MCU that can have a bit of fun with the other Marvel characters that aren't Spider-Man. So they can create their own Avengers, kind of, because there must be something in the contract that says you can use Spider-Man in your MCU films as long as we can use Captain America, Iron Man, and stuff in our Spider-Man films. And if by that logic, they can use them in, they can basically create their own Avengers film if they wanted to, as long as it's got a Spider-Man in it.
Then wouldn't that confuse people if you see an animated Iron Man on the poster and then animated Spider-Man with whatever they're going to call it, the animated spectacular Spider-Man?
Mark my words, it will be an Avengers film with Spider-Man as the leader, and it'll have a couple of Avengers as secondary characters.
And also, this is coming out 2 months after Avengers 3 Part 1, and if Spider-Man is part of that Avenger group, then we're going to see double Spider-Man.
Likely. We don't know that for sure.
Yeah, we don't know, but more likely would be. He's a public character.
Yeah, well, Spider-Man, I think, the animated one, it's going to be, if they've got Lord and Miller as the directors, it's going to be, Sony's going to be like, let's make an animated Spider-Man movie. And then Lord and Miller are going to be like, but how about we make it with a twist like this? And then it's going to be nothing like you'd expect, because that's what Lord and Miller do. Yeah.
Well, it can make Uncle Ben survive. That'd be the biggest twist in all Spider-Man film history.
What if it's actually Uncle Ben is the protagonist, and it's Spider-Man? What if Spider-Man dies, Peter Parker dies, and Uncle Ben dons the Spidey suit, and Uncle Ben is Spider-Man?
Okay, you've lost me
What?
now.
What
I'm
if?
not looking
What
forward
if?
to this movie at all.
What if? What if it's Miles Morales, the Spider-Man in the animated one?
That's what I said. I'm. I don't know. They could do that, but that could make it like not non-confusing for audiences that don't know like movie news like on a daily basis. But still, you could be putting Spider-Man on the front. It's
one of these weeks. One of these weeks, we have to talk about the oversaturation of superhero films in Hollywood right now, and comic book movies. And this is a good example of this, but we'll talk about that when we've got more time, which we don't have time right now.
I call it the oversaturation of Spider-Man.
The oversaturation of Spider-Man and the oversaturation of Batman.
And the last news one, I guess we might as well talk about it. Fast and Furious 8 set for April 14th, 2007.
So excited. Everybody seems so excited about this completely expected news. Unsurprising.
Well, I thought they were going to wait here. I thought maybe, Fast Furious 8, 2018. I thought they were going to do it for a 2018 release, but
3 years.
No.
No, they could never wait 3 years. They've already waited 2. They weren't going to even wait 1 before Paul Walker died. It was supposed to be in 2014. Furious 7.
Yeah.
I bet you they're glad they delayed it now because they made a lot of money this year.
A lot of money.
Honestly, Furious 8 is going to be more of the same, but less Paul Walker.
Of course, but he's going to have some part into this film. His character, like not on screen.
They're going to do the same thing again with his brothers.
No. They're gonna reference him, sort of a way.
Probably.
New one.
Yeah, I don't.
Like
I think it ended the story pretty well, and I don't think it can go any further creatively. Like Fast 6, I think was the best movie in the franchise. So I think that once it got there, and since Furious 7 couldn't go any higher, I don't think that Furious 8 can go higher unless they bring back the director of 3 to 6. Then maybe we could go somewhere. Maybe it'd be cool.
And I don't know if we'll get a new villain in this one. If we do, maybe they're hinting at Fast and Furious, a villain spin-off.
No, the last thing we need is the expanded universe of Fast Furious. I wonder how many of these expanded universes end up coming into fruition.
Well, so far, only one with Marvel. DC seem to be doing it, and then everything else is in the works.
Yeah, everything else is in the works, and basically everything else is going to flop. Because they don't.
I'm glad we're not talking about Transformers. So let's move away from that.
Transformers. Okay. All right. So.
Okay, and quickly go into our May movie preview thing. What we're looking forward to next month.
Yep.
On the 7th of May, Pitch Perfect 2. Have you seen the first one, Nick?
Yeah, I have seen the first one. I quite enjoyed it.
Quite enjoyed it? You're going to see the second one?
Probably not in cinemas, but I might watch it when it comes out on home release because I did quite enjoy the first one. It's just not something I'm super excited for, sequel.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this one. I love musicals, but I wasn't really even looking forward to
much more of a musical person than I am. That's probably why.
Yeah. Pitch Perfect didn't even really interest me at all. Even though it's got Anna Kendrick and Rebel Wilson in it, it didn't really interest me at all. The trailers didn't get me intrigued with the film, but then when I saw it, it was a very enjoyable comedy musical. That's for sure. So I'm looking forward to the sequel. For the 14th of May, we have Mad Max Fury Road. And Studio Ghibli's... Yeah, and Studio Ghibli's possible final film when Miney was there.
Well, I have a confession to make. I have never seen a full Studio Ghibli film.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've
But
only seen one.
it's definitely on my list of films to watch.
Yeah, I really want to watch more as well.
I want to watch
I've
so
seen.
many, but they're so expensive to buy.
Yeah.
So really the only way I could possibly watch them is if I rent them or if I download them illegally. Because even to buy online, I'm sure to download digitally, it'd still be like at least $20-something.
Yeah, they're like over $30 just for a Blu-ray copy or a DVD copy of the film.
$30 DVD, I think. 35 for Blu-ray, I think, something.
It's very dear.
Yeah.
I've only seen one. Spirited Away is a really good film.
Yeah. But anyway, Mad Max. The trailers have sold that film so well to me because if I'd not seen the trailers and you'd said, "Are you excited for Mad Max Fury Road?" I'd be like, "Not really. I didn't really care about Mad Max." But the trailers have been so awesome that it's like, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. Speaking of amazing trailers, yeah, we were talking about amazing trailers earlier on, and that's probably one of the best trailers I've seen this year as well.
Yeah, the only thing I'm like, visually it looks beautiful. The only thing I'm like sort of nervous a bit is the story, because they don't tell you really anything about the story of the film unless that was their way to get people in the movie to like show off all this action and stuff like that, and are revealing nothing.
We might be surprised. As I'm repeating myself again, but you know, trailers come to sometimes just show us what we need to get excited, and then they're a completely different film to what we expect when we actually get into the theater. So I'm hoping that's not the case this time. But now that you mention it, it does seem like the kind of film that could be just like, oh, an amazingly cut Terminator Salvation kind of film.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm hoping there's a story towards there, and it's not just going to be like, you know, Transformers, just action everywhere.
Yeah.
But I have faith, because the other Mad Max films are so well received, and the exact same director and writers coming on for this one. I think the story is hidden in the it's in the movie.
The first few Mad Maxes can have a compelling story. The first couple of Mad Maxes can have a compelling story, then this one should be able to as well. I can't see why not.
Yeah. On the 21st of May, we have Poltergeist and Melissa McCarthy's Spy. Any of those two, Nick, seem interesting for you?
Pass on both of those.
Pass.
Interesting. If the reviews come out good on either of them, maybe, but I'm not a Melissa McCarthy fan at all. The other Poltergeist thing might be interesting. Sounds like it's got an interesting title. We'll see.
Yeah, Spy is the only thing interesting for me, even though it's coming off Tammy, which was terrible. But it does have, is it Paul Feig that's directing Spy? I think he's coming off the Heat and Bridesmaids. Yeah, he's coming off Heat and Bridesmaids, and those two are great comedies. So I'm hoping that Spy is just going to be just another one of those just laugh out loud comedies.
Might be good. Might be amazing.
And on 28th of May, we have a big battle ahead of us. We have San Andreas, and we have Tomorrowland.
2012, the sequel, 2015. And the other film?
Tomorrowland. Which is, you know, what will moviegoers go and see is a good question.
Interesting, because I don't know if moviegoers are tired of the whole disaster genre, because they're kind of opposites, aren't they? When you think about it, in terms of one's dystopia and one's utopia. They're both science fiction, basically. One is dealing with what 2012 dealt with, just one tiny part of 2012, which was the San Andreas fault, basically just opening up and devouring everything, which is not how earthquakes work at all, or subduction currents or anything. That's not how tectonic plates work, guys. Anyway, but people like destruction. Well, they did. I don't know if they still do, but San Andreas might. might get terrible reviews, and it might not get great reviews, which is probably, I can't even think of a scenario where it gets good reviews. But if it's terrible, people might still see it. If it's terrible, people might still see it.
Yeah, and the Rock, and I know if the Rock in it,
does add value? Yes.
I don't think he actually adds value. I mean, he hasn't really had a film just him in it doing spectacular at the box office.
You underestimate the franchise. Here, just think about this, right? This is a film about the Rock on a rock that is cracking. A cracking rock. It's all about rocks. San Andreas is basically a big fault in a rock on Los Angeles. So it's kind of rockception, isn't it? Well, too much rock.
Okay, well that is all for me for Australian cinema releases.
Yeah.
So anything last?
We didn't talk about Tomorrowland though. We didn't talk about Tomorrowland.
Oh, Tomorrowland!
I'm excited about Tomorrowland. Can't wait.
Yeah, we're both excited about Tomorrowland. Even though we've only
I haven't heard any. Yeah, I've only seen the very first trailer and heard the most recent one.
It sounds incredible. That's all we can say.
Sounds amazing. It's what happens when you close when you want to see a film unspoiled. You have to close your eyes in the cinema when the trailer plays. Anyway, so Tomorrowland, it's Brad Bird. I don't even need to know the title of a film. It can just be called Untitled Brad Bird Film, and I'm like, where's my ticket? Give me my ticket. All right. That's all there is. But yes, it's interesting because there's not many utopian films made these days. It's all dystopia. It's all like San Andreas and Hunger Games and Divergent, and all the sci-fis are just like, the world is ending. How will humanity cope in a collapsing world with no life and only barren wastelands and rocks? People have to eat coal for food. How will we live?
I think Tomorrowland's going to have some parts of that as well.
Well, maybe, but I think that Tomorrowland will appeal to people. Tomorrowland will appeal to people because it looks so different and so unique from what we've seen before. It's an original concept, and I think audiences are craving that right now. So I think Tomorrowland will succeed.
Okay.
And the trailer.
I only say that because the first trailer, where the one scene with George Clooney in it, there's a TV with all disasters in the background. So that's why I said that it has some sort of similarities. But it's only going to be probably very briefly in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have. If you like this, we're on Mondays at 12 p.m. Australian time. So I hope you enjoyed us. If you want more movie news or reviews, like us at facebook.com/everythingfilm, or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's it for today. Until next time, bye-bye.
Until next time.